Hey everybody, this is Tom Randall. Welcome to the webinar today. Still got some people logging on, but I know your time is valuable, so I appreciate you agents jumping on today. And I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Just want to tell you how excited it is. I love to get the opportunity to do these webinars again. You guys who follow Golden Care closely know that I've got a great team that we'll talk about today a little bit, but they do a lot of the webinars now, and I'm a little bit busier behind the scenes helping design products and keeping everything hopefully rolling and as smooth as possible in this ever-changing market. So I do want to tell you it's fun for me to get a chance to get in front of you and have these webinars. And I do want to let you know that everything you see here, we'll talk about the fact that you're going to be able to get those slides and you're going to have recordings of all this, etc. So boy, I don't want to look at my ugly mug there. So I used to use George Clooney. Now I just figured I'd make a little thing to make it smaller so you at least don't have me staring at you big screen. But I have been here about 28 plus years at Golden Care, and you guys who know me, I know most of you on this call probably know me already. I'm really passionate about what I do. This is something that's really in my blood, and I really know that there's so many gray hair in America and there's so many people who need our help that it's up to agents like you. And so hopefully today you'll get a little taste. I'll try not to put you to sleep, and I'll try to go out and show you that there's some tools that we have and some staff and support and things that you probably can't get at many other agencies, if any, that hopefully you're going to see it's worth jumping on our team if you're not already. And more importantly, if you're on our team, let's remind you that we have everything you need to be successful. And that's, again, what I'm going to show you today a little bit and show you how to use some of these tools. So I'm going to go in, everything I show you today, I'm going to go in and show you at the end just how easy it is to find this stuff. Our website gets a lot of compliments because it's very redundant. You can find things in different areas, and it's pretty easy to find what you need at any time. But it is, of course, goldencareagent.com. Again, I already talked about the fact you don't have to take copious notes. We're going to have it. If you need to leave early, better not leave early. I don't care if you fall asleep. I'm used to that. But if you leave early, then we'll hunt you down. But I'm kidding, of course. We have recordings of the presentation, and you're going to have the video link and everything afterwards. So hopefully you're running off there to help somebody and make a sale if you leave early. The big thing is, again, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you the first step is up to you, and it's a tiny step, but you got to do it. If you're not appointed, get contracted. If you are appointed, remember there's probably several companies we're coming out with. I'm right now working with our team to develop a couple other products, and we have some great products. So you got to stay on top of it and make sure you realize, which products you contracted with, which ones you set up with, and our team can help you with that, of course, as you get rolling. Really exciting. Hopefully some of you have already heard about the fact we have Renee Stutz. She was with Manhattan Life as their underwriting manager. She now is on our team, and she has been just doing a fantastic job in our underwriting quarter. She's kind of our underwriting liaison, if you will. And she not only does some great webinars to teach you some of the ins and outs about what to expect, but she can be your person in the trenches that can help you out and really walk you through and help you through any of the underwriting questions that we have. And one of the biggest things I want to tell you, if you're out there and you've been around for a while and you're in the long-term care trenches like so many of our agents, the biggest thing I can tell you about the products that we really specialize in today, Mutual of Omaha, of course, is our standby. It's our premier product for our long-term care, but we've got Thrive and NGL, some great long-term care plans, some great hybrid plans. But the biggest thing I want to make sure you guys realize, if you're a little bit new to the extended care market, which include the short-term care plans and the home health care only plans, make sure you realize that the easy button is all over the place. These plans are very, very easy to get initiated. The big thing is that first step that we're going to talk about today is you starting conversations and starting to turn heads in that direction so you can educate your clients. But once you get in the underwriting side, it's a world of difference from what you might be used to with regular traditional long-term care or hybrids, okay? So very, very simple underwriting. I know most of you on this call know that, but I have to put some of you to sleep because I have to hit on some of those things that a lot of agents who maybe are new to this don't realize. A lot of people are nervous thinking, oh, I got to go learn a whole new product and get used to a 45-page underwriting guide. That's not the case with these products, okay? So on this screen, again, this is right from our website. All of our intros to all of our webinars talk about all the tools we have to help you, and basically anything you'd ever need, even beyond what we're talking today. We've got a lot of different things that you might not be aware of that we have. So one of the biggest things we can ask you to do is communicate. Go on our website, check it out, call us, talk to our team. I'll show you our staff that are going to do a great job to be able to help you and support you. It starts right here with these guys. These are my front lines. These are my regional directors. Jeff, most of you know, has been here forever. He's been here 25 plus years. Jeff has done a fantastic job of really helping Manny and Morgan. You guys know, most of you already, that my brother John passed away a year ago. He was one of our lead regional directors as well. And we put Manny and Morgan in, who a lot of you knew from our marketing support area, and they're just doing a fantastic job of stepping up and learning a little bit new nuances of going from marketing support to regional directors. So they do a fantastic job. I can't stress enough. One of the reasons that we hopefully lead this industry in the extended care market and even in the long-term care trenches, we've written over $1 billion of long-term care over the years. And it all started with training and service. We have superior service. So kudos to my team, and we've got our marketing support team that I'll show you at the end there that helps support this group. And I can't stress enough about how proud I am of working with these folks every day, because they're not going to leave you hanging. They're going to take care of business, and they've been pounded into their heads for many years. Quarterback the problem, make sure we help our agents and follow through. So you're not going to be disappointed when it comes to our team. And for those of you know when you jump on my webinars, the few I do nowadays, you know I have this little guy in there. No relation, because I always get asked if he's like my son or something. I just found him on the internet when I typed in drinking out of a fire hose. This is the best one I found. And usually, you know me, I have this, I'm so passionate about it, and we have so much to help you with. And my mind is just kind of full of all these different facts and tidbits. It's hard for me not to go and tell you everything on one call. So I always warn you ahead of time. Hey, I might segue off and start chatting about things that you're going, why is he going into this deep right now? I know my team shakes their heads thinking, Tom, why are you getting into that so deep? It's because I know how important it is. And again, it's so important for me to try to get out there and make you feel comfortable. The biggest reason most agents don't jump into this is that they have a little bit of fear. They don't really understand it quite well enough, and they're a little nervous that they don't want to start a conversation and then end up feeling foolish, right? We all know that's human nature, and it's one of the biggest reasons that a lot of us don't excel more than we should, is that little bit of fear of failure. And to a certain extent, it can be good, but when we show you all the tools we have and show you all of our expertise that's behind you, that's why we've helped build successful agents, both on the career side and on the brokerage side. So we're excited to have the opportunity. Everybody likes to show what they know, and we're excited to have our team show you what we can help you with. So the history, I won't bore you with that. We've been around, we celebrated our 50th anniversary, and we had written a ton of long-term care. We were the long-term care agency for a long time, and now we've realized this market's changing, things are changing in the field. We got to come up with more and more different products. And one of the things we specialize in, as most of you know, is helping carriers develop products. We helped with the Mutual of Omaha plan that became #1 in the independent market. And now we've worked with great carriers like Manhattan Life, for example, that Omniflex plan. Most of you on this call probably know that we really had an integral part of helping design that plan. And it's really been a powerful, and I believe it's just the best plan out there myself, all bias aside. But it is very, very strong and very, very easy to use. That being said, just like with long-term care, we have all the products that you may need. And with short-term care, same deal. These are our true short-term care that have both the home care and the facility on it. And these are our primary products that we have. And it's basically the main products in the field, right? So we got our Omniflex over there that we had an integral part of designing. We have the Wellaby plan that we had our thumbprints on, if you will. GTL, we've worked with them forever. That's a great policy. We've got, of course, Aetna, which is one of the leaders in the industry in the short-term care, and Cigna, which is a relatively new entry, and the Vantage Recovery Bankers Fidelity plan as well. So we have this, and we have the expertise on all these different products as you talk to our agents. And this does, or our regionals, excuse me, and this doesn't include all the home health care only plans that we have on top of that. Remember when I talked about the easy button? These plans are so world of difference from what you're used to with long-term care. Remember that. If you're afraid to jump into this realm, don't be, because long-term care, that was the good old days, quote unquote, right? Where you had the 35-page underwriting guide and height and weight charts that were really strict, and knowing you had to figure out a way to get doctor's records and have the different forms for different types of doctor's places. You don't have to worry about that with these products. These are very simple, usually literally 1 page or half a page of underwriting questions for short-term care. And our home health care only plans, remember, can be as little as 2 questions. Are you getting care right now with your ADLs or activities of daily living, or are you in a facility? And if you can say no, you got a plan. That's how easy these plans are. So the underwriting's a world of difference. State availability, remember, you're going to get a handout. So this I'm not even going to talk about today, but we do have the state availability that it's up to date on our site and on this presentation to show you where these plans are available and which ones in your state or states. We know a lot of you are selling remotely, so there's most of you on this call, even if you're in some of those fun states like, you know, we have New York and California and some of those that just say we're not going to mess with short-term care. Unfortunately, Minnesota is one of those right now. They are having legislation that hopefully they'll start introducing short-term care or allowing it. And we're working hard behind the scenes on that as well. It's going to be tough to get some of those states to move, but again, I think we'll have more and more states as the years go on here that suddenly realize this is a really necessary product line. Okay. As far as short-term care, you guys have all seen this screen if you've ever been on any of my webinars. You know, these new short-term care plans that are out there now are so strong, so flexible, and so powerful if they need to be, that they really deserve a spot at the big boys table with the long-term care and the hybrids. I can't even stress that enough. I mean, everybody thinks short-term care, and I always say this, but for those who are new, if you asked every American out there, every adult, and said, what's short-term care? A vast majority of them would still say, well, that probably covers 15 or 20 days when you go out of a hospital. And the reality is it can do that, and it's one of the powerful parts of short-term care, but more importantly, these can be super robust plans, right? We can write $1 million policy with our Omniflex plan, for example. So these can be super powerful plans. We're not going to get deep into that today, but I'll tell you what, there are times that this can outperform some of the long-term care plans that we're selling. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the claims data and look at the long-term care plans that we actually sell, these policies are right in the mix. They're right in the mix, and they're way cheaper and way easier to get through underwriting. So really, really strong plans behind these marketing tools I'm going to show you today. Okay. And before I even get into some of those tools, I want to talk about the elephant in the room, right? Leads. Everybody we talk to talks to our RDs. Excuse me. Everybody who talks to RDs is out there saying, you know, who do I talk to? I want to find out, how can I get more leads? How you guys have lead programs, etc. Remember, I wish that we were in a perfect world and we could get you lead cards and just hand them out like candy. At the end of the day, we can't do that in the independent market, right? We do have some ways we can help you that you'll see today. But the biggest thing is we know we got to figure out a way to get in front of people. And I'm going to wrap this up today and give away my hint right away to show you. You don't need to go out and spend a bunch of money on lead cards because your market is right around you. Any of you in the field today have people you can talk to very, very effectively and sell these type of plans because they're so strong on the protection side and so affordable. But the big thing is, whether you're a huge agency out there, or you're making agency decisions, more importantly, or if you're a solo act, the key is we all know leads aren't as affordable today as they were in the past, right? I don't care if you're buying internet leads, which used to be the cool things. You're trying email campaigns, beating your head against the wall sometimes doing that, but you're trying hard to do cold call emails. Those are tough to do with the spam filters, etc. Or if you're doing the good old-fashioned direct mail leads, we know it's not the good old days. When I started in this market, man, I'll tell you what, we had people calling agents saying, can I please buy a plan? And then the agents would call us and say, can I please sign up and sell your plan? We used to get 8% response on mailers. Now we know if you spend the money on a mailer, on the consumer side, you're going to end up getting a very low response compared to what you used to get in this market. And let's face it, a lot of those responses are coming for people who are older and they're more unhealthy, right? That adverse selection is alive and well. People who send in response cards, a lot of times, we know from our career shop, we've done this for years and years and years, you get a lot of the time saying, boy, that ship has sailed. I'm already in a wheelchair and I'm trying to find a way to get product. So we know there's adverse selection at every degree, but sometimes it's ones that with traditional long-term care, a lot of the people that send in traditional lead cards or do internet leads, you know, a lot of them just aren't that healthy. And we all know, if you were in the trenches for long-term care, we all love those super long apps. You know, we're looking at it going, okay, we got 13-page application here. We got 5 or 6 pages of health questions. We've got the big underwriting guide that looks like a dictionary sitting beside you. And once we get all that filled out, not only developing the need, but getting people to sign up, we all know how much we love sitting around twiddling our thumbs waiting for that commission check to come in, because we're waiting to see, is this person going to get help that I promised them? I really thought they were going to be okay, but now they're having problems getting doctor's records. They're having problems jumping through different hoops that are part of the nature of the beast. And then when all's said and done, this is from the Milliman study that just came out this year, ages 65 to 69, which is right in our wheelhouse where we want to be a lot of times, especially if you're in the Medicare market. The average age for long-term care is about 58. Those numbers aren't impressive. I didn't want to get too deep into this, so I just started at 65 to 69. But 63% of the people that get the applications taken in, knowing there's a lot of agents out there who are doing a great job of field underwriting nowadays because they understand this, still 63% of them pass underwriting only. So that's a huge percentage that don't, right? And then more importantly, once they get through the underwriting hoops, only 45% of those policies get placed for that age group because they decide it was more unaffordable than they thought, or it took too long, whatever the case may be, they decided not to place the policy. So again, without getting on the soapbox too hard, when you get to 70, 74, the numbers are scarier. 53% get through underwriting, but only 35% of those get placed. And once you get over 80, they usually can't even apply, okay? And by the way, and I hope I'm not gonna go too long on this, but I was going to put 75 to 79 in there, but the numbers are so funny, and I just have to bore you with this a little bit, because if you look at the Milliman numbers, believe it or not, agents are so wily and smart nowadays who are in the trenches that when they come up to a 75-year-old, they don't even use long-term care. And if they do, they're so healthy that, believe it or not, according to Milliman, there's 81.5% of the people who from age 75 to 79 pass underwriting. Isn't that scary? So it's showing that they're saying, I'm doing so much field underwriting when it's somebody that old, that if they get through there, it's because they're an extremely healthy person, okay? Either that or it was a typo, because you know what? The actual placement rates for people at the older ages, believe it or not, is only 20.5%. So the placement follows suit what you see on your screen, but the underwriting passing was a weird, it jumped way up. So the only way I could explain that is to think agents just say, I'm not even gonna try unless they're so healthy it's scary. But anyway, back to my thing, ages 80 plus usually can't apply. Why? Because long-term care by and large is 79 is the drop-off age for applications. With these policies, they go up to age 89 with short-term care. So again, with short-term care, our agents, and I say our agents because we have a career shop here at Golden Care, and it's turned around the way they do business. They still lead the pack in long-term care sales. So we show them ways to say, just find out who can qualify for what. And once they do that, they still sell a lot of long-term care, but they also go out and say, you know what, we changed our lead costs drastically in the career side, because now our agents can talk to more people. They don't have to worry about the adverse selection and weed over those people saying they're not even going to be able to qualify. I just had to hang up with them. And they can fill out simple applications that are super easy, half page of underwriting questions max in most cases that they're talking to. And they can get fast decisions. These things turn around usually, literally, some of them instantly and some of them in 1 or 2 days sometimes. So very, very quick, fast decisions on the short-term care side and the home health care side. And they enjoy a 92% plus placement. World of difference as an agency. We save millions of dollars on leads, and as agents, they don't feel as frustrated out there where they feel like, oh, I got a back charge, this one got declined, or oh, I had another one that I'm throwing against the wall wondering how our family's going to do on our own commission checks, because I don't know how many of these people are going to actually get through. Okay, so remember, jump on board. Some of you now are saying, Tom, come on, get into the meat of this. I'm sorry, but I have to give that intro to make sure some of you new people understand this market is something at this point you can't afford not to get involved in it. If you want to be successful, and more importantly, if you want to help a lot of Americans, you can't afford not to look closer at this market, okay? And we have created and gathered some of the extended care industry's very best consumer marketing tools. And on top of our own creations, we did look around, and our team has spent time. Go on our website, you'll see it, and I'm going to show you today all the different things out there to help you to raise the awareness for your clients and get them to turn their heads. Okay, so the one that we have here is the Consumer Marketing Toolbox, and this again is very, very simple to get to, and I'm going to show you on the site just how easy it is to get to all of this information. So I want to make sure you realize that everything that I'm showing you today, before I let you go, I'm going to real quick go on there and show you just how easy it is to find on our actual site. Okay, so we have everything you're going to need, and I'm just going to go and show you a little high-level bird's eye view of some of this. You're going to get this as handouts, and again, I'm not going to spend 15 minutes on every topic, you hope, but I do want to make sure you know they're out there and they're powerful, and they're little things that you can do to really help you and your clients at the end of the day. Okay, so first of all, you're going to see on the site a real simple area to go on and find a whole library of social media graphics. Some of these are product driven, some of these are just concept driven. The concept driven are way better in my mind, just to open the door, give yourself that latitude. Even if you sell 98% of the Omniflex product, for example, or the Aetna product, whatever it might be, just throw the net wide, and it might help you, because that way at the time when you pivot, and I think clients feel better about the fact if they see something that just talks broadly, as opposed to something that says, go buy this product because it does this, this, and this. So there's a market for both, but as you look at those, keep that in mind, that most clients, if they start feeling like you're coming from the agency, or excuse me, the carrier, or if you're just going to be only that carrier, even if that's the case, that you know that's the best product for you, keep it a little broader, and I think you'll have more luck. Okay. We also have lead letters and self-mailers, agents all the time. And the reason I had my team put this together, Lynn did a good job putting this together and showing all of this information on one presentation. The reason we're doing that is that we have agents all the time who've been with us for 5 years, and they're like, hey, do you guys happen to ever do a lead letter or have a mailer? Remember, all this stuff is available to you 24/7. It's on our site, and we have the availability for you, and we can have our team help you if you need it to go in and personalize them, etc. So all this stuff is easy and ready to go there. I'm going to show you later a couple examples of some of these, but for now, I just want to let you know we have tools available for you that have been proven successful and work. Okay. You want a presentation? People say, you know, I need to have a presentation. I got to walk through it. Super, super important when it came to long-term care, right? Long-term care had so many moving parts that if you weren't using a presentation like the missing link, anybody who's been with us back in the good old days, they know this thing has sold millions and millions and millions of dollars of long-term care, because it walks through and does these close objections, these different things that you just have to hit to be successful and go out and educate people. So a lot of agents have used this. If you don't use it for anything else, use it to educate yourself, because it walks through and does a good job. And now we have a version that is more for some agents who just said, man, I'm practically hanging up my long-term care shoes, which, by the way, I don't totally suggest. Long-term care is still one of the best leverage plans out there, but because of the way we design plans and the new market, because of affordability and underwriting, most of the times we have agents who are selling a lot more short-term care now than they are traditional long-term care. So it isn't bad as long as you're helping people. I'm the first to say, whatever you're putting in place, something's better than nothing. So please start the conversation. But we've recently updated this with new stats, and we have the updated versions with the short-term care, extended care emphasis as well. Okay. Pivot presentation. This one is one, I should put Tom Randall's there, but of course it's always a team effort here. But the pivot presentation was something that I really looked at one point saying, boy, wouldn't it be great if we had one presentation that we change the paradigm and we go out and find out what can people get underwriting wise, right? I'm not going to get too deep in this, don't worry, but I have a full training on this, and you guys can find it on our website, the recorded training. But basically we turn the tables from what a lot of us used to do, and we realize if you go out and tell people about long-term care and how great it is, and then find out later that they can't qualify, it's kind of a bummer, right? Then you feel like you got to go back in and say, well, I got a plan that's pretty good. It's not long-term care, like I told you was the best thing since sliced bread, but it's another plan that's pretty strong. We want to change the paradigm and say, you know what, start at the top and say, hey, I'm a specialist in this market. I want to find out the number. You buy these plans more with your health than you do with your checkbook. So let me ask you this, a couple health questions with your permission, and then I'll find out what best to propose to you as a good solution. Does that make sense? And then as you go through this presentation, again, I'm not going to go deep today, but these little ABCD blocks are down in the corner of the presentation, and you can go through and pivot to any different product in the short-term care instantly by clicking the button. And you can go in there and say, I'm not going to tell you about long-term care and all the different things it does if you wouldn't qualify anyway. Now I'm going to pivot over to short-term care and show you how great that is. But if you're not healthy after asking a couple of questions at the beginning, maybe I'll jump right to the home health care only, where I have to ask 2 questions. Are you not getting care right now? Or do you need, you're not in a facility? Then I can pivot to the other block. So real simple, real easy. Every single slide in that presentation just about has a little link down here in the corner. Again, I'm not going to show you today, but it'll pump you over to this resource page, and then you can jump right back to where you were in the presentation. If you want to have one of those things, a fear of not knowing the answers, this thing can alleviate it itself, because to me, the strongest point in this is that we took the time to put in this resources tab. Somebody asks you and says, well, I'm a member of VA. How does that handle this? And you're going, oh, okay, wish I would have brushed up on that. You don't have to worry, because you can say, oh, you know what? We have a whole document here, and you can click over and go to instantly to websites or instantly to internal documents that are contained in this presentation to be able to go and find out information in a snap. I know you can't read this, but I'm just telling you, it's a carrot for you to say, check that out, because you might be pleasantly surprised. Links to all the underwriting guides, links to all the different things from long-term care all the way over to short-term care. So hopefully you'll see that can be a valuable resource for you. Again, pretty intense. I always say, I put my team to work to put together these unbelievably great different things for you. But at the end of the day, with short-term care, it doesn't have to be that complicated. You don't have to say, I got to learn how to pivot around and jump here and there, because we have the way to push the easy button and just start the conversation and easily flow into whatever product you want without even using that more intense pivot presentation. Okay. So we also have LTC consumer video and PowerPoint presentations. Trying to check my time here. This one is right on our site. I'm going to show you where you can go. And Mutual of Omaha did a good job. They're putting together a lot of good marketing stuff and consumer stuff as well. So you'll be able to go in and show little presentations talking about the need for traditional long-term care. And they have a lot of handouts as well with Mutual and the other carriers. Thrivent and GL do a great job of this as well. They know how important that is. We've got a lot of educational consumer guides for various insurance products out there. Remember, some of the states require that if you talk long-term care, you got to have that shopper's guide. We have that stuff available right for you on the site, so you don't have to panic. We've got our little short-term care guide we're going to talk more about in a second. And we've got buyer's guides from different agencies, et cetera. So a lot of good tools there on the educational side. One of the main things that we have lately that's been a real highlight, and some agents are just having extremely good luck with this, and that's our extended care planning guide. And this is a consumer approved, so you can use this with consumers. And this product, I'm going to jump over and actually show you this. I think I even threw in a thing to say, let's take a peek and remind me, but it's basically a nice way to show people that we have solutions available, and you as a specialist, as the agent, have solutions available no matter what you're going to come across in the field. So if I jump over here and show you the short-term care guide, I'm not going to go into it in detail today. We do have full webinars that talk about this, I believe, this plan or this product alone, and just to show you how powerful it is once you start the conversation with somebody, right? And again, with extended care planning, you'll notice that's our key word. One of the worst things about short-term care, remember, is the name. People think if I say, oh, I have some great short-term care products, they're like, I didn't want short-term care. I wanted something that would help me for those custodial cares, those extended claims. Remember, these plans can do it. So one of the first things I tell people is, I would say it. If I was in the field today, every client I talk to, I'd say, I've got these products, and I'm going to say short-term care once in a while, and I want to make sure you know they're not that short. I mean, these things are really powerful plans, and I'm going to show you how powerful it is. So don't let the name screw you up. These plans are very powerful if I need them to be. So we use the word extended care a lot because we want to keep the net open wide so that we can pivot to home health care only, short-term care, or even long-term care plans. Okay, so you'll notice that new lingo that we use. And again, not going to go through this on every page, but it talks about what extended care is, talks about some of the need base. This is a huge one. It's one of the biggest things that most of you can use as an opening line to say, hey, I want to make sure you have your extended care taken care of. And, you know, once you start the conversation, this is one of those strong ones that, you know, I'm not doing it to scare the crap out of people. I'm just doing it to educate them and say, you know, it's kind of weird. 66.5% of all the bankruptcies, personal bankruptcies out there are because of unforeseen medical costs. And we have plans that can help you with that. And the big thing here is it's not like these aren't catastrophic medical conditions. These are things that most Americans aren't prepared to have, I think the average for these bankruptcies is $18,000. It can be that low. So most Americans don't realize that they're not prepared to suddenly have an $18,000 or $50,000 bill thrown onto their laps. And it does cause a lot of problems. And a simple little plan can save them from all that hassle. Remember, these plans are all indemnity, super easy to hit claim, very, very strong. Okay. So then it talks about knowing your options. Again, I'm not going to go too deep in this because of time. Talks about care planning as a family matter, talks about familiarizing yourself with all the different solutions out there, all the way from home health care membership plans that aren't even insurance down to traditional long-term care plans. Then it talks a little bit about how these health plans help out and supplement what they need at the time of care, right? Goes into short-term care, home health care only. And again, I'm going to take a drink while I do this. Talks about these different types of tools. It kind of takes out that fallacy. That's why a lot of agents have loved this, to say, don't let the name fool you. Short-term care can have benefits up to $1 million. So you can see it's helping you with all those little things. If you have somebody Medicare age or coming up to Medicare age, take 10 minutes and learn the ins and outs. We have a webinar or a recorded training on this as well. This is a huge selling point, the inpatient versus observation. Telling people about, you know, have you watched the news lately? Right now, we have so much chaos in our political system. It's scary, but everybody's worried about Medicare, budgets, and Social Security, and all these different things. We know that it's going to be tougher and tougher as time goes on and people get older. More gray hair in America means we're a little bit more scared on the Medicare side of where are those budgets going to go. And there's things happening right now as far as inpatient versus observation that can greatly affect your out-of-pocket. So I'm not going to go any deeper into that today, besides reminding you to check that out. Ask questions. Our RDs know where to steer you to help educate you on why that's a bigger issue than you think, and why these short-term care plans can save your butt if something happens in that arena, okay, and you're stuck with a bunch of out-of-pocket expenses, okay. Then it just talks about long-term care insurance, etc., and there's extended care guides and a lot of different questions you can have to help initiate that conversation and help that come to fruition, okay. So as I do the extended care here, I promised you that I was going to show you how easy it is to get to this, and there's several more things I'm going to show you on this on the slideshow as well. But I do want to go in and make sure you realize how easy it is to get to this stuff, okay? So if you're brand new to this, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, and I'm going to go through this quickly, but I do hopefully want to get through to you that it's going to be real easy to find this after this webinar is over, okay? So you go into your browser, whatever your browser may be, you'd see this Google screen or something like it. Then when you type in Golden Care Agent, you'll probably have it on your top bookmark, so you'll be able to get to it right away because you know how important it is. But goldencareagent.com, okay? And when you get in there, you're going to see this screen. And you can see here, this is so easy and intuitive of a website. Look at the redundancy. There's Agent Corner up here, get a quote. Down here, here's Agent Corner again. Here's Strat Decision, shows you all links to get to things quickly, so that even if you're not a pro at jumping around our website, you're gonna see it because it's gonna pop out at you in several different areas. That makes sense? So wanna make sure you see that. There's our live training schedule you can get to. But if you click on, today we're talking about Agent Corner. So if you click on Agent Corner, and the Agent Corner is a unique thing. If I click that button, it would send me here. I'm already logged in, so I'm cheating here and having these screens already up. But when you click into the Agent Corner, it's going to say, hey, we've got some great exclusive tools. We already talked about some of these. But when you go down here, it's going to say log in. This is the one area of our website. We used to have everything we could, not with a login, but now it's getting to the point where we have so much exclusive and proprietary products that it's so important for us just to say, you know what, we do want you to be on the Golden Care team or one of our integrity partners, et cetera. So we want to make sure that we have the ability for some of this to have a little bit of control. So, and we don't want people misusing it, you know what I mean? So right here, we have a new user registration. 24 hours is polite. We got the best team. Corey Fountain is one of our main people, and Lynn and Corey monitor this, and Corey she's a 24/7 gal. So most of the time people are pleasantly surprised going, wow, I just clicked that button and it popped up and gave me my permission right away. So I'm not putting you on the spot if Corey's listening, but it is really quick. A lot of times it's literally minutes instead of hours. And we do say within 24 hours, we'll be able to get you up there and refresh it and get you in, okay? So don't wait. If you're an agent, you're appointed with us, and you think I might use some of these tools, guess what? If you haven't already, get registered now so you don't have to worry about it. Once you put in your username or your email and your password, once you get initiated in, tell you what, at that point, it'll click you over to the Agent Corner screen, and then you see the power of some of the things we have to offer exclusively, right? It'll say, welcome to our exclusive. Here's your consumer pivot presentation resources, a big link there because that's popular right now. Then we have StratDecision. Remember StratDecision? You can go in there and immediately see the different industry products. This is about a $500 a year license that we allow our agents to use for free. So you can go in and do quotes and find benefit comparisons for long-term care, and you can do quotes stuff for short-term care and the hybrids in there as well. So there we have training on this to walk you through if you're not familiar, but it's super powerful. We've got our InstaPivot tool. If you're not used to that, it's a tool we put together here, our team, so that you can ask a couple health questions, and if you're not quite sure of which of the short-term care plans would fit, it'll immediately show you which state people are in, which plans are available, and based on their health or their medications, you can jump over and see exactly what plans are available for you to talk to with your client. Great for back office support. A lot of agencies absolutely love this tool. Some agents love it as well, but again, I always talk about the fact I pull the rug out from under you and say, this is an unbelievably powerful tool that we spend a lot of time and money developing, but these plans are so easy, you sometimes don't really need to have everything at your fingertips when it comes to the health side, because these plans are pretty intuitive and easy to get the way they are. So you don't have to feel like you need to learn how to do every part of it. As a matter of fact, if you don't even want to get involved in short-term care, we've got our decline placement program that says, hey, if you're in a long-term care trenches and that's in your blood and you're just not quite ready to pull the trigger, we have a decline placement program that'll help you and guide you through walk you through those steps. On that same side, on the right-hand side over here, we've got our concierge service that we already talked about. You can talk to our regional directors who are really good at what they do, and we've got Renee out there who specializes in this, and they can help you walk you through if you have underwriting concerns or questions or some weird curveballs. We can help you with that so you don't have to feel like it's you against the world with the carriers. We walk you through and can be your partner in that, okay? And here's that extended care planning guide I just showed you. That has a spot of its own because it's so popular. And again, if you're with us and you're writing, talk to our RDs. We can even find ways to, if you want digital copies, it's easier, but we can find ways to personalize this for you. And you can talk to my team about that later, okay? Here's the consumer marketing box I'll come back to. If you roll down here, CLTC, Certification for Long-Term Care, we got an agreement with them to help you with that. If you want to listen to me babble at you, which I doubt many people click these, but if you want to, you can watch all of our WOW showcases that have all the different presentation topics that I've done in the past. And we even have a short-term care agent playbook that walks you through some of the short-term care and gives you some product specifics. Down below is our good old standby LTC CEO, my brother Mark. Shout out to him back in the day. Mark's no longer with us, as you know, but Mark has his fingerprints all over this. And this is back when we wrote so much long-term care, it wasn't even funny. This LTC CEO was a big part of that. It has literally spend down calculators, everything you could need to be successful in that market. That's always left up to date, so you can see spend down numbers and all that fun stuff for different states if you want. And of course, Mutual Care, which is our premier product. We have the software download link there as well. Okay, so give me a second here. I'm blabbing so much, I got to keep drinking. I'm drinking water. Don't hold it out on me. If I click this watch now, nope, I don't want to watch now. If I click the consumer marketing toolbox and click access now, it'll bring me over to this screen, okay? And here again, consumer marketing tools talks about why tools are important. And then it walks you through all those things I showed you on the presentation, right? We have a library of social media graphics here, non-specific short-term care graphics. I think I have one of these up. I probably can do it live because it pops right up, but look at this one. This is something for your social media account. If you're out there saying, yeah, I'm on LinkedIn or I'm on Facebook or I'm on Instagram or different things like that, you can go on here and feel comfortable knowing you got an approved piece that says, hey, did you know without insurance, the typical out-of-pocket cost, even for a simple hip replacement surgery, can range from $31,000 to $45,000. That's based on, we have the stat down there to show you. And again, not scare tactics, but ways to educate clients to say, guess what? I have a solution for you. You're probably not thinking that a lot of these things that we all take for granted that our major medical or our Medicare will cover, sometimes there are out-of-pocket expenses, and a lot of times we know America's filled with volunteer caregivers. Our primary source of care for seniors, whether it's shorter term recovery from surgeries, etc., or longer custodial care, don't kid yourself. There's a lot of long-term care nursing homes out there and assisted livings, but the primary place people get cared for is at home, where they want to be, but unfortunately they're forced to be a lot of times because they can't afford, they don't have insurance, they didn't put things in place, so we have a lot of volunteer caregivers. Remember, we have products that help and keep you at home and pay those people at home as well, and pay to have people come in and help you. So again, not getting too deep in products, but a lot of different things. Check this out. See how easy it was to get here? Piece of cake. You want email templates? We've got them. If you have a client base, that's all you need is people you've talked to in the past, especially people, believe it or not, who got a decline for long-term care. You want to talk about a perfect market. They were already interested, found out they couldn't get it. Most of those people just hung up their towels and thought, I'm done. I don't have any way to get help. I'm going to have to rely on the government. You can go in and open that conversation up. Same thing with prospecting letters and mailers here. I think I have one of these open. Here's that inpatient or observation status. We have it all set up for you and ready to be personalized if you need it to be, okay? So check those out, open them up. There's a lot of different topics. If I click on this, for example, the email, you'll see it opens up a little box and you can click and check these out. You wanna know a trick? If you're new to this and you feel like I don't really talk about it a lot because I'm not quite educated myself enough, the best education you can have is to go through our presentations and go through some of these prospecting letters and mailers that have some of these stats on there. Guess what? You'll be a pro at this just by reading some of the stuff you would have intended for your consumers. So educate yourself that way as well. We have our missing link consumer presentation, our pivot consumer, remember redundancy, different ways to find things. There's our pivot again. Long-term care trifold brochures. We have real people, real stories. These are different flyers that talk about people and consumers. And again, I don't have time to go into all this, but needs calculators that you'd expect is there. And we've got consumer videos and PowerPoints, Genworth's cost of care. If you need to find immediate cost of care, it's there for you. So you immediately can learn to find where you can go to find areas to help your clients realize that these can be expensive to get care. Even at home nowadays, we all know those costs are going up, okay? There's that shopper's guide we talked about, and the Life Happens videos. You know what? Life Happens is not Golden Care affiliated, but it's a great site, and I talk about that when I go. It's a great site that gives you some consumer videos out there, and it gives you the ability to show people different things. It's going to be on a slide after this. I thought it was the next slide, but I'm going to jump in and just tell you this one. I'm not going to spend much time here, but in group market, we can use this group market for developing the need, talk about the reason, the decision, everything you need. And this is that drinking out of a fire hose. I can't stress enough, these plans are designed to be individual plans, but they're so simple on the underwriting side. Unlike long-term care, that was a whole different market, a whole different fathom of concept to go out. With short-term care, and especially even some of those home health care plans only, they're perfect for employee groups. They're perfect for your church. Go out and talk to decision makers in your church and say, I'm special in this. I wouldn't mind going out and helping people, educate them about what's available out there. These things are set up perfect for a little employer group, right? So talk to RDs about it. That's all I guess I should say today, but talk to RDs and let them show you how some of these plans are perfect fits for a small group market, for a small employer group, for example, because it's so easy that the underwriting is so simplified already, it's almost a turnkey operation, okay? Here's that Life Happens, weird segue there, sorry. But the caregiver stories, Life Happens is the link to that website's right on our site. I recommend you check it out. Nice little videos. They got a whole bunch of them. And you click on some of those videos and it's another way for you to educate yourself on what these plans can do and how they can solve problems. If you don't have a story of your own, that's one of the best ways to sell, as you know, educate people about it and tell them stories and tell them real life situations that happen to you or your clients. Or you can use these video stories and say, you know, there's a great video on this that whether you spend the time to watch it or not, you know the background story, and you can talk to people about how these plans can save people's butts at claim time. All right, well-beings is another one. If you remember, there's Great. This got a lot of press lately, the well-beings deal. I think this is the Bradley Cooper one. And he's one of those famous stars you've seen, and they did a real big caregiving series on this. And I think that was why well-beings, and my staff will correct me if I got that wrong, but I think that was where the well-beings came from. And we can show you links to be able to get on that as well. Also, we have iMedia, the weight. If you haven't seen a video, click on this link, you'll get it in the handout. This is a great video. You can see there, it's under 4 minutes long. And it's really a cool video for an agent even it went really well done. And I'm just going to give it away because I'm going to ruin it for you. But it's so great because this pregnant lady's sitting there talking to this older guy at a bus stop, and he's giving her advice and stuff and asking her questions. And it's just so strong because at the end of the day, you find out that that's her dad, and her dad has Alzheimer's. And it shows that sandwich generation that so many of us are in America right now, where we've got kids of our own and we're trying to keep our own balls in the air, and then we've got a dad or a mom who needs us, and it's such a scary situation to be in. And you can just see the strife on this gal's face as she just can't help but show the love she has for her dad, but also all the stresses she has that goes along with it. So we have, again, products that help solve some of that stress for people within their families as well. Okay, same thing here, Alzheimer's, dementia. These are great, especially a way to keep the long-term care conversation open, because again, this is when I talk about leverage plans for long-term care. Long-term care does have the ability. We can write $1 million plan with Omniflex using restoration, et cetera, but it's still $500,000, which will solve most problems. But long-term care, remember, there still are some products out there that can provide really long-term coverage that is super long. And again, there's whole affordability issues I could talk about and all that fun stuff. But if you can get through the underwriting, long-term care is still a great solution for these folks. And some of these hybrid plans are great too. So our team knows about all of them, can help you. These are just ways to try to open the door and help give you ideas on how to start the conversation. Okay. So like I started out at the beginning of this, and I'm going a little past my time here and I apologize, but the big thing is it's up to you. Number one, get involved with Golden Care. Make sure you jump on and get started on our team. But then after that, it's just, you have to be the one to start the conversation. Again, this is where my passion comes in. It's up to folks like you who are on this call to take that first step. Even if they're small steps, you can create momentum for yourself. I promise you this, I'm not in this for the selling. I'm in this for helping people. And if you go write one policy with our short-term care plans, most agents, once they write one, it's like potato chips, man. You can't stop at one. You're gonna do more. So you have to get over that first hump to say, I don't really dare start the conversation. Use our tools. I showed you a lot today that we have, but go out and initiate conversations. Share the infographics. Create a newspaper ad or a short article. We can help you with some of that storytelling. This one's a little harsh. I got to smile. And interview nursing home residents and share their stories. I mean, truthfully, it's a great way to do it. My mom was in assisted living and she lived to be 94. And she was a great person. She would have been one of our best salespeople because she was out pitching all of our products all the time to all of her buddies because she saw how important it was for her. But leave brochures and trifolds at care facilities. Make liaisons. Whatever neighborhood you live in, go, and you'll be surprised how open they'll be to saying, well, we don't want to just push one product, and say, nope, that's not the deal. I'm out there and I'm a specialist. And you know what? All those families that come in to visit, a lot of them are struggling financially because they didn't have their parents plan ahead. Let them talk to me and I'll show them how they can plan ahead. And you'd be surprised some of the great relationships we have where agents, this is their primary source of income, where they have referrals from different care facilities or home health care agencies. Okay. Set up consumer educational seminar. No better way. I've been blessed to be able to give hundreds of these over the years with long-term care back in the day for agencies. And it was so frustrating because half the people would show up. We had that adverse selection, right? Half the people show up, I knew we couldn't get a policy. But the one thing, once you get pretty good at this, we can go out and do these seminars, and now we can throw the net wider with these extended care. And I've had some of those live seminars out there that I've given that we had 85–90% closing, where people are in there going, wow, this, now that I learned this is more important than I thought. So most people just don't have the education, and they don't realize how important this is. And that's why the biggest thing is, you don't have to go out and interview people from nursing homes and buy a camera crew. The end of the day is, as simple as asking one question. That's the biggest thing I want to train agents on. I have all these tools and all this knowledge and all this background with my team to help you, but at the end of the day, you just have to have the guts and the wherewithal to ask one question. Whatever other product you're selling, whatever you're doing, I don't care if you're around the campfire, you're at church, or you're anywhere else, be proud of what you do, because we're saving people at claim time. There's so many baby boomers in America and so many people who missed the boat and weren't able to get those more complex long-term care products. You have a solution for them, and all you have to do is literally finish every conversation, maybe not every conversation you have, but every sale you make, certainly if you're selling other products, and just say, hey, is it safe to assume in today's American man, you have your extended care taken care of, right? And that's as simple as it is. And because what that does is opens the door to have them say, I don't know what you're talking about, or yes, and then you find out, no, they really don't. They just try to get rid of you on that. But if you have to go out of your comfort zone enough to ask a question, and it literally is that simple, and say, you know, I want to let you know, first of all, don't worry about your health. A lot of people are saying, well, I'm going to put you off because I know I'm not as healthy as I'd like to be, and I don't want to jump through those hoops. Hey, if you're not getting care right now and you're not in a facility, I can get a plan for you that might be able to save your butt if something happens at claim time. And it's easy to start those simple conversations, and then throw out a couple of the simple stats about, you know, the big thing of the reason I ask you that is 70% of the people who are over age 65 are going to need some type of care. Okay. And some of you long-term care veterans are on this call and you're saying, Tom, that's a little overstated. 52% is the number I use. That's great. You know, for long-term care, it's probably 52%, but 70% means hip replacements, all those simple things that these plans cover. These are indemnity plans that cover you regardless of any other insurance. So 70% is a very accurate stat to say, you know what, 70% of the folks are going to have a minor accident or a fall or an injury or fracture or a simple surgery that they're going to need help with 2 of the 6 ADLs. They don't have the 90-day requirement that they do with long-term care. So 70% of the people will need some type of extended care. And unfortunately, 90% of the folks out there have never had a conversation. They've never talked to somebody who understands the market. Let me just, if you don't mind, let me spend 5 more minutes and just tell you, this is something that you need to have covered. If you don't have it, I've got unbelievably affordable solutions for you that I can't say it any simpler way. It'll save your butt. These plans can be super powerful. And if you don't have them, with everything going on in America, you know what? There's times this could be some major hassle. Look at bankruptcies. 3 out of 5 of them are because people didn't plan ahead and have a way to cover some unforeseen medical costs. Let's make sure we have a discussion about it. That's how easy it is, you guys. And again, I'm going long, so I can't give you a whole sales pitch, which I'd love to. And my staff's going to get mad at me already saying I went 50 minutes. But I do want you to know, we have the team here. We have the passion. All my folks, everybody who works with me knows it's kind of a requirement. You better be loving what you're doing and realizing the importance of it. So these guys will jump through and walk through fire to try to help you. We're going to find ways to say, let me help you solve your problems so you can help those seniors. So contact us. We got all their names you'll get on your handout. And with that, I won't even go in and talk more about the Fast 50 and how you can have 2 years worth of home care coverage with these short-term care plans. A lot of agents don't realize you can do that, but guess what? With Omniflex, we can show you ways to have 2 years worth of home care with one short-term care plan. So make sure you ask that question if that turned to your head and you weren't familiar with what I'm talking about, because it's worth a phone call. Okay. That being said, because I'm gone on so long and my staff's going to start coming out after me with torches and pitchforks, I apologize for keeping you longer. But this is Tom Randall again. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy days to jump on this call. And remember, the next step's up to you. We can't reach out to everybody and touch base with you every day, but we need you to reach out to us and let us show you how we can help you. So everything's on your screen and you'll get the slides for this and all that other fun stuff as well. So thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate all you have. If you have questions, hopefully they're in the chat or something, and we'll get our RDs to get back to you. Thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic day.
Golden Care is looking forward to serving you with new tools, new products, new innovations, and always the best support in the business to help you succeed in 2022. So give us a call at 800-842-7799 or check out our website at www.goldencareagent.com.